Hello again, everyone. I'm Joe Longinusa, welcoming you to another edition of Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, the show where industry leaders, golf professionals, and legends all come and discuss the great game we love so much. So without further ado, let's turn it over to our host to tell us who's next on the tee. Chris, take it away.
Hey, thank you, Joe. Good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining me again today on Next on the Tee. We are brought to you today by the great folks over at the French Lick Resort, an absolutely spectacular place. Their Pete Dye and Donald Ross designed courses were ranked number 1 and number 2 in the state of Indiana by Golf Week. It was the site of last season's Senior PGA Championship and the LPGA Legends Championship. Go to FrenchLick.com to see for yourself just how great that place absolutely is. And we are also sponsored by our friends over at The Leather Shop, makers of top quality custom-made leather, dress, casual, and golf shoes. Do your feet a favor, folks, and put them inside shoes that are going to keep them feeling good and looking good all day long. You can find them online at the-leather-shop.com. And if you'd like to win a free pair of custom-made leather golf shoes, specifically custom-made for you, go to my Twitter page, at CT Mascaro, or go to our Facebook page, Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, and tell me why you should be the winner. One lucky person is going to be. We've got the contest running through the end of June, so please, again, go to my Twitter page, at CT Mascaro, or our Facebook page, Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, and tell me why you should be the winner of some absolutely spectacular golf shoes. And one lucky person is going to be come the end of June. We also want to give a shout out to our friends over at the World Golf Village, located in historic St. Augustine, Florida. It is also the home of the World Golf Hall of Fame. No matter the time of year or the length of your visit, the World Golf Village is sure to deliver a great experience with family or friends, and you're going to make memories that are going to last you a lifetime. For more information, visit them online at worldgolfvillage.com or give them a call, 1-800-948-4653. We also want to welcome our new friends over at the PGA Tour Superstore, and it's a golf wonderland, folks, and the best place to get Dad what he wants this Father's Day. So many great gift options there, any one of which is going to keep Dad smiling for a very long time. Check out their great items, from golf balls to clubs to range finders and so much more, by going to their site, PGATourSuperstore.com, to get Dad something that he is really going to enjoy this Father's Day. I'm your host, Chris Mascaro, and today I have the privilege of sharing two really great guests with you. First up will be my interview from earlier this morning with Champions Tour player and one of my favorite all-time guests here on Next on the Tee, and that is Bob Friend Jr. Bob joined me a couple of hours ago prior to his 8:09 a.m. Eastern Time tee time at the Senior Players Championship up in Philadelphia at the Philadelphia Cricket Club. We talked about his first two rounds, plus Bob is also a member at Oakmont Country Club, site of next week's U.S. Open, so we looked ahead to that event as well. You'll hear our conversation here in just a few moments. Following that, you'll hear my interview from earlier this week with the head of marketing for Vice Golf, Helge Meyer. If you're not familiar with Vice Golf, they make several varieties of really great golf balls. They're a German-based company. Their Pro and Pro Plus golf balls were on Golf Digest hot list for golf balls the last 2 years. We talked about their strategy to compete against the big boys in the golf ball industry, what makes their balls as good or even better than those out on the market, and what might be next for them. I'll play that interview for you about 25 minutes from now. So we've got another great show lined up for you this morning. I am so glad that you are here to take the journey with me over the next hour or so. But let's start the show off right, and that's by helping you get your mornings started off right, and that's by checking out our friends over at Aroma Ridge, because they offer an array of the finest mountain-grown gourmet coffees that you're going to find anywhere. You can find them online at aromaridge.com. Their secret? Hand-selected beans from a variety of coffee-producing countries from around the world, and they roast those beans to perfection by their very own roast masters. And those coffees that I'm speaking of, they are roasted to order specifically for you. So they're not waiting around in bags just sitting there waiting for someone to order. They roast them, to perfection for you. And if you like a little flavor in your coffee like I do, they have almost any flavor that you can imagine. Plus, you can even mix and match flavors to create one of your very own. They got a great line of biscotti cookies. And not only are their coffees and their cookies great, but they're fantastic people as well. Check out all of their wonderful products online at aromaridge.com. And like I mentioned, Next on the Tee is brought to you by our friends over at the French Lick Resort up in French Lick, Indiana. Folks, you want to talk about a spectacular resort to both play golf and just to relax and enjoy yourself. Well, you need to check out the French Lick Resort by going to FrenchLick.com to see for yourself. Let's hear a word from our friends up there.
This is the time to play legendary golf at French Lick Resort. Book one of our money-saving packages like the Hall of Fame package and play our Pete Dye and Donald Ross courses. Stay in historic luxury at our French Lick or West Baden Springs hotels. Relax in our spas. Dine in our restaurants. Have some gaming fun in the casino. Or just rock on our rambling verandas like they did 100 years ago. Go online to FrenchLick.com and book your legendary golf getaway now at French Lick Resort.
Folks, I've had the privilege to play the Pete Dye and Donald Ross design courses there. They're absolutely spectacular. My family and I, we can't wait to get back up there again this summer. The French Lick Resort needs to be on your list of places to stay and play. And oh, by the way, my friends, like they mentioned, they've got a casino right there on the property as well. For more information and to book your stay, go to FrenchLick.com. And every week here on Next on the Tee, we like to kick off the show by saluting the brave men and women serving in every branch of our military who are tuning in today around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network. We want to thank all of you for the daily sacrifices that you and your families are making to protect our freedoms and our liberties. We also want to thank our veterans for all you and your families have done for us over the years. It's through your strength and your efforts that our way of life is even possible. Folks, if you see a member of our military when you're out and about, whether it's in the airport, at a restaurant, at the grocery store, wherever it might be, please stop for a moment and tell them thank you. They are our real heroes. Our sincere thanks as well to Sean Cruz and the wonderful folks over at the Armed Forces Radio Network. It is such an honor for us to have Next on the Tee be a part of your network. You can find our show by going to armedforcesradionetwork.org. I also want to continue to remind our veterans out there to please continue to check out globalvoiceforveterans.org. A great site with news and articles and a wealth of information that is specifically geared towards our veterans out there that I'm sure you're going to continue to find both interesting and beneficial to you. Again, globalvoiceforveterans.org. Okay, now I'm going to play my conversation from earlier this morning for you with Champions Tour player Bob Friend Jr. Now back with me on the French Lick Resort guest line and making his 7th appearance with me on the show is one of my favorite guests, Bob Friend Jr. He's joining me live. It's 6:30 a.m. Eastern Time before his third round gets underway at the Senior Players Championship being held at the Philadelphia Cricket Club up in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. He's got an 8:09 Eastern Time tee time this morning, so I'm thrilled he's taken a few minutes to be back and Next on the Tee with me this morning. Good morning, Bob. How are you, my friend?
Hey, Chris, I'm doing great. Nice to talk to you.
So, Bob, before we get started, how's your father doing?
He's perfect. I was with my dad at the Bill Mazeroski Celebrity Golf Tournament on Tuesday at Nemacolin Woodlands Resort. Maz has this foundation, a charitable foundation that gives money back to underprivileged kids. It's a fantastic outfit, and I play in it every year as a celebrity, as does my dad and all the old pirates. And it was fantastic to see all the old teammates of my dad, and also obviously to spend a little bit of time with my dad and my mom, although I do see them frequently. I live about 5 minutes away from them there in Pittsburgh.
So, Bob, I was so happy to read when I heard that you got into the field this weekend. Fourth alternate, which I imagine makes it much harder to prepare mentally to get get around the golf course because you're not as prepared to tee off and be a part of the tournament as the other guys. Is it difficult?
Yeah, absolutely it was. It was one of those things where I got a call from the tour on Monday telling me that what my position was, and I then called the tour back on Tuesday and inquired in terms of what other alternates were on the property, and I was informed by the rules official Dean Ryan that John Inman was the only other alternate on the property. He was first alternate. None of the guys in front of me were there, and so I made that decision then that I was going to go and drive on over. It's about a 4-hour drive from Pittsburgh, and I played in the Oakmont SWAT about 1:00 in the afternoon on Wednesday, and then as soon as I was done playing, I just drove over here and came out on Thursday morning, and Gene Sowers pulled out, and John Inman got in, and so I fully didn't expect to get in. And the next thing you know, about 20 minutes before his tee time, John Rieger pulled out with a foot issue, and so I got in. And obviously, it's I didn't have an opportunity to play a practice round of the golf course, and just a little bit harried, I would say, but for the most part, not too bad. I mean, it's been very difficult conditions. I mean, the wind on Thursday blew 25, probably gusting up to 30, and yesterday was a blustery condition as well. I haven't played great, but I really haven't played a whole heck of a lot this year as it is. So just trying to get my tournament toughness back, and just grinding through it.
Yeah, so far rounds of 76, 75 to your point, dealing with a lot of high winds. So I have to imagine, even if you've got, a game plan heading in to a tournament round, when you get up to the first tee and now the winds are gusting the way they are, I imagine game plan goes out the window and you got to start, forming something else to try to figure out how you're going to deal with those winds.
Well, when you haven't played a practice round, you really don't have a game plan, but normally you do. But what it really does, when you get out there in the first tee and you see the winds are blowing, as stiffly as they were, 25 to 30 miles an hour, what it really does, it gets you to adjust, your comfort level. You sit there and you're playing along and you're 1 or 2 over par, and under normal conditions, you're a little bit upset with yourself because you've thrown away some shots here, thrown away some shots there. But when you're 1 or 2 over, in 30 mile an hour winds, you kind of adjust that to like, okay, everybody's going to struggle, everybody's going to deal with it, and conditions are difficult for everybody. Just stay patient. And that's really what you do. It's playing in conditions like that. It's really something where that you're going to hit a good putt 5 or 6 feet away, and you hit it where you want to. Gust of wind comes up and blows the putt offline. It just requires a little bit more patience.
Mm-hmm. And you're tied with another Pittsburgh guy, Rocco Mediate, who won a couple of weeks ago at the Senior PGA Championship, and you guys are actually paired together this morning. I imagine you guys have gotten the opportunity to play a round or two together in the past.
Oh, yeah. Well, gosh, Rocco and I have known each other since we were about 13, 14 years old, both Pittsburgh guys, and looking forward to it. When I got done yesterday, not completely pleased with my round, saw that Rocco had shot the same number. I had a feeling we were going to be playing together. So we're going to have a good day out there. The wind has really laid down today. Any wind that we're going to have is going to come from a different direction. So, we're looking at 5 to 10 mile an hour winds, which is more amenable to scoring.
So when you find that you're paired with a guy like Rocco, who you've known for that length of time, does that make the round more enjoyable, or do you prefer more to keep to yourself and play your round and let whoever else you're paired with play their round, and then maybe we'll talk afterwards?
Well, no, it's always nice. It's always nice to be paired with with somebody somebody you like. I mean, most of the guys out here, we've known each other for a long time, and so it's very comfortable out here. You sit there and on the PGA Tour, it's a little bit more stress. Guys trying to make their names, trying to get started, a lot more money involved. Out here on the Champions Tour, what I have found in the starts that I've had is that it's a lot more laid-back atmosphere. Although everybody's still trying to beat each other's brains in, and the golf is fantastic. It's a little bit more laid back than it is on the PGA Tour, a little less stress.
So tomorrow, whether you're paired together or not, being Pittsburgh guys, any Penguin stuff going to be sported? A little love for the Penguins?
Oh, I don't. I didn't bring any black and gold with me, but we're obviously, we're both pulling for the Penguins. A little disappointing there the other night when they were not able to clinch in Pittsburgh. But you got to believe they've got great speed. They outshot San Jose, 2-1. Basically the other night, and the goalkeeper had a great game. We hit a lot of posts in that game. So I fully suspect that Sully is going to keep the heat on, and we're just going to keep firing that puck at the net. And I do believe that they're going to win in 6.
When I looked around the pairings today, you've got some, obviously on the Champions Tour, all great players out there, but you got some really great players in and around your tee time this morning. There's Larry Mize and Jay Haas, John Daly, Brad Faxon, Kenny Perry, Sandy Lyle, Tom Kite, and Tom Watson a little bit ahead of you. When you're playing, in a field of this caliber in a Champions Tour major, by the way, what's the atmosphere like? You say it's a little laid back, but what's it feel like? Does it have a different feel than some of the other tournaments you've had an opportunity to play in?
Well, it is, it is. I mean, you're out here and you're playing with Hall of Fame members, and obviously you take a look at a guy like Tom Watson with his storied career. He was my childhood hero growing up. That's how I really got involved in the game of golf, was caddying in his group in the 1978 PGA at Oakmont as a 14-year-old. Got inside the ropes there with a club professional who was good friends with Tom, and watched him play inside the ropes. And right then and there, I decided that that's what I wanted to do. And so when you're out here and you're playing on the Champions Tour, again, I've been associated with the PGA Tour since 1992. A journeyman. I had a little more in a cup of coffee out here, but maybe a ham sandwich and a cup of coffee. But still, it's great. It's great to be out here. It's great to be competing. It's great to see guys like Tom Watson, who's 66 years old, and still has enormous amounts of game. You look at Tom Kite, just played in front of me the first 2 days. I mean, here's a guy that's in his early 60s, and Tom Kite goes out there and he works as hard as anybody that's playing on the PGA Tour. He's out there, his towels set out there, and he's hitting balls, wedge shots, and he spends a lot of time working on his game, and it's just it's refreshing to see.
Bob, I also want to take a look ahead with you to next week's U.S. Open at Oakmont. You're a member out there. Give us some thoughts on what you've seen from the course. You mentioned playing there and then coming on over. So how's the course look? What are players in for when they get there next week?
Well, the golf course next week is going to be extraordinarily difficult. It always is at Oakmont. Right now, it rained a little bit on Tuesday night. This past Tuesday, we haven't had any rain since Tuesday. The golf course is drying out. Looking at the forecast, unfortunately, it looks like there's going to be a little bit of rain in the forecast this coming week. So it's going to soften the conditions a little bit. But when you've got fairways that are 26 yards wide on average, that are tilted and canted, and those greens, they'll run anywhere from 14.5 to 15.3. It's going to be a very difficult test. You've got a lot of rain this early summer/spring, so the rough, which was all well fertilized in March and April, it is extraordinarily thick. It's not terribly long. The USGA's done a nice job. Mike Davis and his crew have done a nice job in terms of the graduated rough, with the first cut about 1.5 to 2 inches, and then you've got your intermediate cut, which is anywhere from 3 to 4 inches. And then your primary cut on some of the shorter holes is extraordinarily deep, 6 to 8 inches. But what I've noticed, other than in years past, is the thickness of the rough because of the amount of rain that we've had this spring and summer. So, there's a possibility that you might have maybe one or two players could actually hurt themselves with tendons or ligaments or whatnot in heavy rough. But I can tell you the golf course is ready to go. There will not be a stitch of ground under repair on the golf course. It is in perfect condition. And we're looking to have a great championship. There's probably about a 30% larger footprint in terms of infrastructure than we had for the 2007 U.S. Open, with grandstands and sky boxes and luxury boxes. But it is the golf course is in tremendous condition. It's going to be a totally different look from what you saw last year at Chambers Bay. And I look that, if we have a situation where we get, little rain or no rain next week, you're looking at winning score of, anywhere from maybe 3 to 6 over par. If you're looking at some rain, you're looking anywhere from even par, maybe to 3 or 4 under par if it's wet. So it is, it's going to be an extraordinary test, and everybody that's going to play is going to really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I had Eric Johnson, the director of instruction at Oakmont here, on the show a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying he was right around the same score. He was thinking the winning score was going to be +5, which coincidentally is what Angel Cabrera shot back in 2007, the last time the U.S. Open was at Oakmont. Now, I was communicating with Eric yesterday, and he sort of backed off that number a little bit, saying, because of the rain and the forecast for rain, that conditions might be a little bit softer, so maybe the winner will be +3. So it's interesting. You're right there in the same school of thought.
Well, hey, look, the only thing that we've changed from the 2007 Open, there's 3 changes, and none of them are major. The first one is we've changed the mowing pattern from the fairway into the fairway bunkers. We have eliminated the heavy rough between the fairway and the fairway bunkers. So we have the first cut of rough spills into all the fairway bunkers. So the players will not get any hanging lies, and more balls will end up in fairway bunkers, which at Oakmont are 3 to 5 feet deep. just off the edge of the fairway. The second thing we changed was the sixth green. There was a hole location back in 1906 from a photograph that we had that showed a hole location directly over the right large green side bunker, and we reclaimed that area in 2013, and so that area is going to play. There's going to be a hole location cut over that right bunker. And then number 12, we took out, there were 3 bunkers about 35, 40 yards short left of the green there. We took out 2 of those, enlarged 1 bunker, and now there's a gap from that last bunker to the front of the green about 30, 35 yards. And so what that will do is that gives the player who flights the ball perfectly up the left-hand side, he can actually knock the ball on the green. He'll be rewarded with a shot either on the green or maybe just through the green. But if he should miss it left, you're not going to have any chance at all of keeping the ball anywhere near the hole at number 12. So very few changes from 2007 to 2016. The golf course is really ready to go. And, Oakmont has a penchant for crowning fantastic champions. You take a look at the list of people who have won there: Bobby Jones, Gene Srixon, Jack Nicklaus, Ben Hogan, Johnny Miller, Larry Nelson, Angel Cabrera, again, 2-time major winner. Sam Snead's another guy that's won out there. So the golf course has a tendency to produce great champions.
And to that point, when you kind of look at the field coming in this year, what type of player overall, what kind of game does Oakmont favor? Is it more of a left to right player, right to left player? You give me an idea of what type of player is the course set up to favor?
Well, the golf course, you've got to work the ball both ways. But I would say it really favors a guy that really flights the ball high and maybe a slight left to right. You take a look at Ben Hogan, who like to work the ball from left to right, and you take a look at Jack Nicklaus, who we all know hit towering fades out there. So I would probably say the golf course, if anything, favors a person that plays the ball slightly left to right, but most importantly, the ball's got to be brought in high. It's got to be brought in high and soft, and you've got to make sure that you're, there's an old adage for tournament play is that on the range, tournament players work on their east and west, the directionals. On the golf course, what's most important is our norths and our souths. And so at Oakmont especially, you're going to have to pay very close attention to your norths and souths, getting the ball, in relationship to the hole, either just past the hole or just short of the hole, to give yourself the best opportunity. Because one of the things that you deal with, not just at Oakmont, but with a lot of golf courses that have greens that roll, 14 and a half, the greens will really put you on the defensive, even if you have a good birdie opportunity in terms of distance, 10, 12 feet for birdie. If the ball's in the wrong place, you're going to putt defensively just because of the speed of the greens and the slope and the break and the putt. So it's going to really favor a guy that's going to bring the ball in high and soft and who has really good distance control that particular week. And obviously they're going to need to have a very good game.
And Bob, who are some of the guys you're expecting to see in and around the top of the leaderboard come late afternoon on Father's Day?
Well, I think that you're going to have to. You'd be foolish if you didn't have Jason Day in your selection. I think you're going to have Jordan Spieth there. I know Rory McIlroy came out this past Monday, and played in the private party there. Roy really liked the golf course. Really said it fit his eye very well. One of the members that played with him said he just absolutely loved the golf course. So. I think you're going to have your big three, your Jason Day, your Jordan Spieth, your Rory McIlroy, I think they're going to do very well there. I think when you take a look, I think that Ricky Fowler's about ready to break out of this little malaise that he's been in here, missing the last couple of cuts. And then another guy who's playing well this week at FedEx St. Jude, Daniel Berger, was actually over at Oakmont in the same party on that Monday, so he got a little extra look at it. And, it fits his eye as well. So the neat thing about Oakmont is that it's not something where, at Bethpage, where it requires brute strength off the tee and you've got to hit the ball, 275 yards just to reach the fairway. Oakmont will actually, it can accommodate a guy that drives the ball of average length. The 280-yard guy can have a real good opportunity there. One of the guys that played very well there in 2007 that could be a dark horse selection might be David Toms, my old LSU teammate. David qualified down in Memphis. David finished 5th there in the U.S. Open in 2007, and David produces that left-to-right ball flight. Still gets it out there pretty good at about 280 yards. but one of the great putters that we've seen in the game here, the last 15, 20 years. And so if David gets hot, he could contend there.
And Bob, just a couple more before we let you go. First, give us an update. How are things going over at Pikewood National?
Well, you know what? I'm no longer there. I left there March 31st was my last day there, and I imagine they're doing well. It's a tremendous golf course, but I'm no longer there, and right now I'm focused solely on playing, and that's what I'm doing. I've got this event this week, then I'm going to go to Wisconsin. Then I've got a huge section tournament in Pittsburgh. It's the Frank B. Fuhr Invitational. It's a $200,000 purse, $40,000 to first place, and it's 4 rounds over 3 days. And I won it in 2008. And then after I play in that, then I'm in the Dick's Sporting Goods Open in early July. So my schedule here the next few weeks is really busy, and looking to have a good weekend here in Philadelphia. And I'm looking to have a great year here starting right now.
There you go. And remind our listeners, Bob, how they can follow you both online, over social media, and on the radio as well.
Yeah, my Twitter hold is BobFriend_golf, and I don't do the radio anymore, but what I do, I will do occasional spots on Sirius XM, and obviously talk with you, Chris. So, it's been a transition here the last couple of months, but it's been really good. It's given me the opportunity to work on my game and get to where I need to be. Made a lot of swing changes in late April, so just kind of working through those right now. Work with Jim Studdy, and Doc and I made some major changes April 27th and 28th, and it's been a little bit of a journey here the last month, but I'm really starting to see some results in terms of the solidness of contact, and also the shape of my ball flight. So everything is good. Everything's positive.
That's fantastic stuff. Bob, thank you so much for taking time out of your morning to be a part of the show. Best of luck this weekend and going forward. I look forward to this weekend watching you climb up the leaderboard. So happy to see you in this event and the things that are coming up for you. We're big fans of Bob Friend and always in your corner, my friend.
Well, Chris, thank you, and I'd like to thank all the men and women that serve in the armed forces and to protect our freedom and protect our liberty, and we cannot repay that debt. So thank you very much to all the men and women in the armed forces.
I appreciate you saying that. Bob, all the best to you, to your father, and the rest of your family. Can't wait to catch up with you again soon. Best of luck over at the U.S. Open as well, and in the Dick's Sporting Goods and everything else you've got going on. Hopefully we get the opportunity to catch up with you in the not-too-distant future.
Thanks so much, Chris. God bless.
All right, take care, Bob. That was Champions Tour player Bob Friend Jr., and my thanks to Bob for joining me this morning before his round at the Senior Players Championship. Before I get to my next guest, Helge Meyer from Vice Golf, I want to give a shout-out to our friends over at the World Golf Village located in historic St. Augustine, Florida, just south of Jacksonville. World Golf Village is an ultimate golf vacation destination and a true paradise for fans of the game. The Village, as it's often referred to by the locals, is the home of the World Golf Hall of Fame, where the greatest players and contributors are honored, and it includes 70,000 square feet of displays, trophies, and personal memorabilia. The World Golf Village boasts 2 championship golf courses, including the King and the Bear, co-designed by Arnold Palmer and Jack Nicklaus, and the Sam Snead and Gene Sarazen masterpiece, the Slammer and the Squire. Golfers looking to tune up their game before their round can book a lesson at their golf school at the PGA Tour Golf Academy, featuring the latest in learning technology and a world-class group of instructors. A luxurious stay awaits you at the Renaissance Resort at the World Golf Village, offering an array of amenities, including dining options, premier services. No matter the time of year or the length of your visit, folks, World Golf Village is sure to deliver an unmatched experience with family or friends, and you're going to make memories that are going to last you a lifetime. For more information, and to book your stay, go to worldgolfvillage.com or give them a call, 1-800-948-4653. All right, I'm going to play my interview for you with Helge Meyer on the other side of this station identification.
You're listening to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, heard around the world on the Armed Forces Radio Network.
Now joining me on the French Lick Resort guest line is Helge Meyer. Helge is the head of marketing for Vice Golf, whose golf balls were on Golf Digest hot list back in 2015, and they're gaining more and more attention both within the industry and players alike. And I'm very excited to have Helge with me and next on the tee this morning. Helge, I would say good afternoon, but it's no longer afternoon there in Germany, so good evening, and thank you for taking time out to be a part of the show today.
Well, thanks, Chris, and hi.
So, Helge, before we get into talking about Vice Golf and the wonderful golf balls that you guys are making, let's talk for a moment about the game of golf and the game of golf with respect to you, and curious to get your thoughts. When did you first start playing the game, and who introduced you to it?
Well, I started pretty early at the age of 5. Pretty much my parents introduced me to the game since they were located in the UK at that time. And it was a bit more common to play golf in the UK than it was in Germany. But that kind of caught me right from the beginning, and I was pretty passionate about it and kind of successful too. So glad to combine my studies and my favorite hobby, my job now.
Yeah, and speaking of successfully, I read that you were runner-up at the German Championship. So when was that? And please, share your memories from being a part of that tournament.
Well, quite a long time ago. I think it's 13 years ago now. It was 2003. It was pretty much my high time because I was pretty good for my age. And yeah, simply played a couple of good rounds. At a really nasty course, and at the end I was the runner-up champion. But ever since that, I never managed to get to become the German champion. But I think I did have a pretty good time on the golf course.
And Helge, I also read that you've been involved throughout the course of your career with marketing for some other companies. You've done some consulting as well. So curious, how did you end up getting involved with Vice Golf?
Well, it was actually more by chance than it was a plan. It was a friend of mine who did an internship at Vice Golf back in 2013, and he knew about my passion about golf, and he was my roommate, and we studied together, and he told me about the opportunity of getting involved with Vice Golf, and I started as an intern, and I never left the company since then.
So I'm curious to get, sort of the background on Vice Golf. With so many golf ball brands already out there on the market, why did you guys take a look at that golf ball market and I guess, essentially say to yourselves, I think we can do better?
Well, actually, back in 2011, there was no online. The two founders, Ingo and Rainer, both have a law background, so they weren't involved with golf at all. But they had quite an interesting project running with a golf ball company or with a manufacturer, and they learned about the process and the value chain of a golf ball and where all the margins and the markups come into play. And they were always passionate about starting their own company, and that was sort of the right opportunity to give it a try because they saw there were so many markups in between from the middleman until the golf ball reaches the end customer. But they said they can do the same quality at least and offer such products at half the price. And this is basically when they started working with R&D departments here in Germany and trying to come up with a golf ball that can compete with the big names. And after many months and then almost a year of research, we actually had our first product ready to market, and it was well accepted by the market straight away.
So to that end, Helge, what is it about Vice golf balls that makes them better? And, as you talk about so many markups in between, I guess, the manufacturing of the golf balls and delivering them to consumers, I'm guessing that's, in the traditional retail chains. But talk about what makes Vice golf balls, comparable or better, particularly when you're looking at, some of the bigger boys like, the Titleist Pro V Series, which I think your golf balls match up with very nicely.
Yeah, I hope so. Well, pretty much, first of all, it's our business model. So we sell online only and thereby save all the costs of the middleman. And we offer, so to say, volume discounts due to the lower handling and logistics costs. And therefore, we just offer the best price starting from 60 balls onwards for each model. And the reason why we chose to have this volume discount on the 5 dozen is because we believe that a golfer needs at least 5 dozen a year if he plays on a more or less regular basis. And as I said, we did a lot of R&D work so that the quality of the golf ball is certainly up to the level of the big names, and especially for the premium models that we produce. We produce them with a cast urethane outer layer, which is not the common outer layer to use. It's a pretty unique combination, and I think this makes our golf balls very good.
And so your golf balls, like you say,
regarding your second, sorry, just
go ahead.
Regarding your second question, basically, what makes us better is I think we're a young, fresh company with a unique design. We're always striving for highest quality, and I think we kind of treat our customers a bit differently. Also because we have to, because we are in a direct contact with them, because we sell online only. So we have the chance to get in a more personal contact with them, and I think this is what our customers value as well. So they do get an additional service if they, I don't know, if they just call us, they might end up with a CEO, and if they have some special wishes about their personalized golf balls, we just try to make them happen.
And when you say unique design, what does that mean?
Well, the background of one of the founders of Ingo is from a company that's K1X. They are pretty well known in the U.S. for basketball shoes, and they also have that design issue. They were really looking for good designs, and so I think many of the golf balls out there, kind of have don't want to say boring slogan, but I mean just the font and the way it's positioned out there in the market is like how the golfers used to know it from the decades ago, and I think it was certainly the time for a little change there and to risk something and to come up with a new marketing approach. And I mean, if you look at our slogan as the Vice slogan and also the sub slogan, Embrace Your Vice, I mean it's a little different. Like, you should combine the sports of golf, but also you should have a lot of fun on the round.
As you've mentioned, Helge, your golf balls are currently strictly available online at vicegolf.com. Are you guys, going to stick with that marketing strategy, or is there some opportunity that you may do a little bit something different? Maybe consider distribution in retail outlets or any other way to get the golf balls, or is it strictly going to be held close there at vicegolf.com?
Well, I mean, so far we plan to stay online only because this is one of our key advantages and the reasons why we can offer these prices. Of course, there are a number of offers which may be interesting in the short term and now, but I think it would kind of take away one of our USPs in the long term. So to answer your question, I think we will, or I'm very sure we will stick with the online strategy for the short and medium term for sure.
And you guys have had some, a lot of recognition now getting into, from places like Golf Digest, and I also read, and it had to mean a lot to you to have the German Golf Association make Vice Golf their official golf ball, right? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it helped us a lot in gaining visibility and awareness on the German market, especially because there were a number of other brands who wanted to be in that position too, but I think the German Golf Association decided to take us on board because they were also looking for a young and fresh and kind of new approach, and I think we're having a fantastic partnership. And also, I mean, what is a real privilege for us is to have our golf balls played by the top amateurs of Germany, and to get their constant feedback also gives us a feeling of where we are, and if they don't like it, what is it what they in particular don't like. So and Helge, like I mentioned,
sorry.
No, please complete your thought.
No, I just wanted to add it's not only the independent golf test results, which are great, and like as you said, Golf Digest, who mentioned us in last year's hot list and this year's hot list as well. But it's also the direct feedback from some great players.
And to the point about the Golf Digest hot list, I love what you guys have on your website about that. It says, you can't imagine how this makes us feel. Like we want to run out into the beer garden and get plastered. Wait, we did that last week when we found out we'd won. Anyhow, we were thrilled and humbled, and we want to brag about it to anyone who will listen. And here we are. We're listening. That was absolutely. Not only was it fantastic that you got on the hot list, but it's fantastic what you guys put there as well.
I mean, simply said, it's the truth. I mean, we were like last year. We were the only new brand to the hot list to join the hot list, and then being awarded with the gold medal straight away was a fantastic thing, and of course helped us to get a foot into the American market.
And Helge, you guys have a production facility here in the U.S. up in Buffalo, New York. How are things going up there?
Well, it's not specifically a production facility. It's a distribution center. It's actually not that big. It's we do the non-customized orders are shipped out from there usually. However, we have a large number of orders which are customized golf balls. So either it's a logo on the ball or a picture or just the text. And all of them are actually customized here in Munich, but we still manage to ship them over to the U.S. within 3 to 5 days.
So you've talked about, having the online strategy, and that's how you're going to compete, from a price perspective, and you guys are doing a great job with that. How do you intend to compete long term from a marketing perspective with some of the bigger brands, the Titleist, Callaways, TaylorMade, Srixons, all those other well-established brands? How are you going to, be able to market and get the attention that you guys, deserve for the quality of the golf ball that you have? How can you compete with those guys?
Well, I think most importantly in the business of golf is that the golfer himself trusts our golf ball, and just by the word of mouth, marketing is one of the major things that we rely on and what we're dependent on. But I mean, we know that like the other brands do an excellent job as well, and they've done great work in the past and are important for us to see where we stand currently. And we see them as competitors, of course, because they are also in the golf ball business. But as I said, they also help us see where we stand. And I think like the whole package that we offer, I mean, it's not only price, it's also quality, design, customer service, is the thing that will help us grow further and establish ourselves further in the market. So I think it's not a specific marketing strategy that will help us to be better than the others. I think it's just being consistent and to gain trust among the golfers out there.
Helge, have you guys talked to some of the more prominent German players, the Bernhard Langers, Martin Keimers, Alex Krajicek, those guys about playing your golf balls?
Not really. I know. I mean, we know them, but actually we prefer not to put a whole lot of money into sponsoring the big names. Because, I mean, you never know how they perform, and what if they just don't perform really well, they don't get the TV exposure, whatever the reason may be. I think it's nicer, especially for us as a young brand, to focus on the young up-and-coming players who we support with our products, that we don't have to put in like tens of thousands of euros, and instead we just pass those savings on to the customer with the price that we offer.
So are there more hurdles that you guys have to overcome to get Vice Golf to the next level?
Well, I mean, there are always hurdles, but so far we've always found solutions to these hurdles, and I'm quite certain that we'll continue to overcome them. But of course, it's not easy to enter such a golf like a market like the golf ball market, because the whole industry is well established, and everybody, when we started the company, everybody was like, hey, this golf ball market is so saturated. Why? What the hell are you doing? But I don't see any hurdles or challenges that would be different from a regular business in another industry in their growth story. I mean, there are hurdles everywhere, but I think the most important thing is to stay positive and to enjoy what you're doing and to see what's coming.
And we've talked at a high level about the golf balls, but please walk us through. You've got a number of different models of golf balls that you guys offer. Talk about the different sub brands, if you will, and the levels of player that those golf balls are designed to help.
Yeah, well, let me start off with the basic model, which is our Vice Drive, which is a 2-piece construction golf ball. Is especially used by players with a rather low swing speed because it still gives you quite a big distance. And it's a great golf ball for everybody who says, I don't want to spend a whole lot of money, and I don't care if it's a premium golf ball or not. It's a great golf ball for beginners, but also for, as I said, for golfers who don't need the pro views of the golf ball market.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have the Vice Tour, which is a 3-piece Srixon DuPont ball, which is especially featured by exceptional distance off the tee. It won a couple of contests by independent golfing magazines due to its distance. It just offers a nice feel around the green. If you compare it to the established brands, I would say it's probably somewhere near the Titleist NXT Tour. And finally, we have the premium models that we offer, which are the Vice Pro and the Pro Plus. The Vice Pro is a 3-piece cast urethane golf ball, which offers exceptional distance off the tee. Once again, our golf balls are pretty much all featured by really great distance off the tee, but what makes the Vice Pro really spectacular is the cast urethane cover that I talked about before, which just gives you a really, really great feel around the green. And you have the feeling that you can really control the ball and you can control the spin. And comparing the Vice Pro Plus to the Vice Pro, it's just an additional layer. That's why we call it Pro Plus. So it's a 4-piece cast urethane golf ball. And the only difference, in my opinion, is basically the feel around the green. So it feels a bit firmer. And if you again want to compare it to the Titleist of the golf ball industry, it's similar, like comparing Pro V1 and Pro V1X.
Right.
So finally, we also offer the Vice Pro version in different colors. So for the colorful guys out there, we also have them in infra pink, which is especially designed for the ladies. But we also have a number of guys playing in this ball. And we have the neon lime ball, which is actually a color that we developed ourselves, which is better visible than yellow balls, especially when it gets darker outside. And it's just better visible.
So, Helge, kind of looking out into the future, at some point, are you guys going to do more than golf balls? Are you looking into potentially, the equipment lines, golf clubs, branded apparel? I know you've had some hats, but are there other things you guys are considering in the not too distant future?
Well, we launched our Vice Pure glove last year, which is again really a premium golf glove. Again, with the same strategy and procedure, what we try to do always. Highest quality at half the price. But besides that, let's see. We launched our new towels last week and also an umbrella. So we'll see how people react to that. And I'm sure there will be some new things this year coming as well.
So that's the question is, what's on tap now for the remainder of 2016 for you guys?
Well, I don't like to talk about things which are not released yet, but I can promise you there are a couple of things coming up. Of course, we will stick, or at least for now, we will stick in the golfing industry. We will just expand our product line a little. So there will be some more accessories. And in particular, maybe to give you an outlook into the near future, there will be a limited edition cap coming out next week for the U.S. Open.
Oh, very nice. All right.
Yeah.
Helge, let our listeners again know, how can they follow you guys, both online and over social media as well?
Well, certainly social media on our Facebook account, Vice Golf. But we're also on Twitter, on Instagram. And, I mean, the easiest way to follow us is to sign up for our newsletter, where you just go on our website on vicegolf.com. You just scroll down to the bottom, sign up, and you'll be informed about all promotions, all new product releases, and so on.
That's fantastic. Helge, thank you so much for taking time out of your evening to be a part of the show. We're excited to be working with you guys and hopefully doing some more things together. I hope you'll come back again as you guys are looking to release some of the things, the new product launches, that sort of thing, and give us an update on all the great things that you guys over at Vice Golf are doing. We're very excited to see what the future holds for you. We will for sure. All right, Helge. All the best to you and your family and everyone at Vice Golf, and thanks again for taking time to be a part of the show. It's been fantastic getting the opportunity to talk with you. Thanks for having me, and best regards from the Vice team from Germany. Thank you, Helge. Take care. We'll catch up again real soon. Yeah. Take care. Bye-bye. That was my conversation with Helge Meyer, again, head of marketing for Vice Golf. All right, folks, it is about time for me to put a bow on this episode of Next on the Tee. Before we close up shop, I want to continue to remind you about our friends and our partner, PGA Tour Pro Jim Estes, and the great folks over at the Salute Military Golf Association. Let's hear a word from Jim about the great things that they're doing.
The Salute Military Golf Association was created to provide rehabilitative golf experiences to the brave men and women who have been wounded while serving our country. Hi, I'm Jim Estes, PGA Golf Pro and co-founder of the Salute Military Golf Association. With my adaptive golf program, we've successfully helped thousands of soldiers in their recovery, both mentally and physically. The SMGA has been providing family-inclusive golf experiences across the country since 2007. To date, the SMGA has equipped more than 1,000 warriors with properly fitted golf clubs and has extended its clinic series to more than 8 chapter and affiliate locations across the U.S. If you are a wounded veteran interested in participating, or if you'd like to learn more about the Salute Military Golf Association and find a chapter closest to you, visit our website at smga.org. We've seen firsthand how impactful golf can be in aiding one's recovery. The Salute Military Golf Association, empowering wounded veterans one fairway at a time. Visit smga.org. That's smga.org.
Yeah, they continue to do amazing things there at the Salute Military Golf Association. To find out more information and to see how you can get involved, please check out their website at smga.org. All right, everyone, my sincere thanks again to Bob Friend Jr. and Helge Meyer for making today's show so much fun for me to put together and be a part of. I hope you enjoyed it as well. I also hope you'll continue to check out our sister show, the Thursday Night Tailgate. You can find it with me and my co-host Bob Lazari and our announcer Joe LaGiannuccia, airing live every Thursday night from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Blog Talk Radio, on the Armed Forces Radio Network as well. That show, like this one, also available on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, TuneIn, Stitcher, Player.fm, and SoundCloud. We enjoy, on the Thursday Night Tailgate side, on our football side, every week we are joined by legends and pros from around the NFL and the CFL as well. We typically have 5 to 6 guests joining us every single week on that side. Please also check out both shows on Facebook and give us a like. That's so very important to us as well. You can find us online, this show, nextonthetee.net and ThursdayNightTailgate.com. From there, you can stream or download any of our archive episodes for free, folks. Plus, stay up to date with who some of our future guests are going to be. I can't thank you enough, and I thank you again for choosing to listen to this show today. We appreciate you so very much. Until next week, hit 'em straight, my friends.
You've been listening to Next on the Tee with Chris Mascaro, where PGA and LPGA legends, pros and top instructors, and media members go to tell their stories. Join us the same time every Saturday to hear more stories about the game we love from the people who love sharing those stories with you. It's all about the great game of golf. It's all about the great game of golf.